Hello everyone and welcome back. Today we're going to be taking a short look at the CRASSUS detonator and all the intricacies of fighting it, killing it, and getting the most out of it. So without further ado, let's get into the details. There's a few different ways to know that you're looking at a CRASSUS detonator. Most obviously the name, but if you can't see it directly there's a few other indicators you can use. Normally if you hear a detonator through walls and it's not digging to you, it's easy to tell that it's a CRASSUS detonator, because unlike normal bulk detonators, they spawn when the mission is generated, meaning that you'll only ever have one, and it won't late spawn in a mission. So if it's there, you'll be able to find it. Other than that, it functions identically to a normal bulk detonator, except that whenever it dies, it paints the walls around it in gold. It also has 50% more health than a normal detonator, and can get up to 9,000 health on Hazard 5 with 4 players, so these things are by no means a pushover to take down, but the reward is well worth it. And with the CRASSUS only having a 1 in 26 chance to spawn when you start a mission, they're definitely rare and a target to be taken out. Now let's look at some of the strategies to get the most out of every CRASSUS. Since the CRASSUS detonator covers the walls around it in gold, ideally you want to detonate it in the smallest area possible. Normally a cave will have a tunnel ideal for this, but in a pinch a driller can also drill a tunnel and lead the CRASSUS into it. But if your team is lacking a driller, your best bet is going to be leading it into the smallest tunnel you can find and taking it out. As you can see, this yields much more gold than detonating it in an open room or on flat ground. Normally this yields about 1200 units of gold, and if you're lucky enough to have a CRASSUS under the effect of pots of gold, you can easily break 5,000 gold. And now let's take a look at a CRASSUS handled under ideal circumstances. And by that I mean having a driller in the party and having space to drill into the wall. So, normally you would like to lower the CRASSUS to low health, but as this is being recorded on Hazard 1, not really necessary. Once the CRASSUS is lowered to low health, you'll want to have your driller dig approximately 20 to 40 meters into a solid wall with no caves ahead of him. You should use your terrain scanner to check and make sure. And the depth really depends on whether or not the heroic dwarf leading the CRASSUS into the bunker hopes to survive, but that doesn't really matter, as long as the detonation goes off, the mission is a success. So as you can see here, I'm letting the CRASSUS get as deep as I possibly can. And then I'm going to set him off. And while I do go down because of this, as you can see, it creates basically a perfect sphere of gold. So this is about the most optimal way to yield the perfect 1200 gold. And for most classes this can take a pretty significant amount of time to mine, but I'll show you now. This can be done very quickly with satchel charges and EPC, also by the driller. Basically, the driller is just a one-man CRASSUS killing machine. So, just like we spoke about before, we're going to lure the CRASSUS deep into the wall, set him off, and then we'll get into mining the sphere of gold. Now there's a lot of different ways to approach mining the top of the sphere. This is my personal favorite, or at least partially, because I didn't have full satchel charges in this instance, so it's a little skewed, but there's a couple different ways you can go about it. My way, which you'll see in this video, mining all the way around the top, cutting all the ground away, and then disconnecting it from the bottom half to cause it to pop and fall away, or just EPCing it from the ground. But as you can see here, I used 2 satchels, so not as much as I possibly could have, and then I'm going to use EPC for the rest. What I usually do is dig a tunnel over the top in a plus sign, and then satchel the 4 tips, if that makes sense. But EPCing it also works very well, and obviously I wasn't full on ammo here, so I wasn't able to get the entire thing, but as you can see, this is very quick compared to manually mining it with Scout or anything like that. If I had to say a second Second fiddle to Driller for mining this would probably be Engineer, just because he can platform his way up to the top more easily. But Scout and Gunner can struggle pretty heavily with getting the stuff off the ceiling. But yes, a well-supplied Driller with satchels and thin containment field EPC can rip down a Crassus in no time flat. Just remember that if you do have pots of gold, you should not use satchels or EPC, as they do not receive the bonus. And the last tip I have for you is, under any circumstance, do not ever freeze a Crassus detonator, because, as your fear may affirm for you, you do not receive any gold. Truly a sad day in the space rig. I hope this video has helped you go from a pitiful puddle of gold to a magnificent cavern glittering with your newfound riches. Once again, thank you for watching. I apologize for the extended hiatus. I'll be back on my normal content tempo now, and I plan to start live streaming more often. If you'd like to see more guides or Deep Rock Galactic content, please leave a comment below telling me what you'd like to see specifically, and consider subscribing and turning on notifications for my channel, as I'll be posting regularly. Thank you again, and have a good day.